Hey everybody, how you all doing? Hope you're doing well. So, I've got something a bit different today. I've actually got a guest that's going to come in a minute. We were having a conversation on Twitter over the course of a few days about the future of the country and our fears and what we think is going to happen. We were talking about should there be a civil war would happen. So, at the very beginning, I'm going to give a caveat and say neither of us advocate violence. Anything we speak about during talking about the civil war is purely speculative and it's hypothetical. We do not want civil war in this country. We don't want violence in this country. But we're just going to be talking about where this path is actually going to lead us. And, you know, we've got our concerns and we thought this conversation would be better off if we did it live for you guys to listen to. And, you know, maybe once we've finished having the conversation, bring some of you guys in and we'll see what you've got to say. Right, so without further ado, I'm going to bring in Tom Fury. Now, you probably don't know who Tom Fury is. Tom Fury was the cameraman on Tommy Robinson's The Rape of Britain series. So I'll bring him in.
Hey, bro, how you doing? Hi, everyone.
So, Tom, just tell everybody a bit about yourself.
If you don't know me, I started off in the movement after some years of research. Everybody says that. So I started a podcast in 2018 called Zero News, and that kind of led me sort of up in the movement, thanks to the support of a lot of very good people. It's not something I could have achieved by myself, and I realise that. And for whatever reason, that sort of got me noticed in the movement. I started doing more and more. Then I was interviewing Tommy and doing things for them to when he was doing court appearances, things like that. And then that sort of progressed on to editing some videos together for him. And that progressed to going out and helping shoot The Rape of Britain, for which I was cameraman. I don't want to take any more credit than that, but still got a hairy job to do. And then I did a few more things for them after that. And then I moved on, made a half a documentary about Southampton, and then took a year off. So now I've been back since about September. And what really brought me back, I think, was the Dave Rudy Cabana stuff. It was like, I can't sit and be quiet. Yeah, you know. So yeah, that's me. So we had a channel with about 20k people on. It was going very, very well. But YouTube had demonetized it, and also because they couldn't pick a specific video that was wrong. What they've done, and I've shown people this email, what they sent me was like a message through their system to say, you can't get monetized basically because you need to delete all of your videos because it's a hate channel. And anybody knows me that knows I don't really peddle hatred. So but that's my story so far. So I used to cover a lot. Sorry, and the only other thing is that people might remember me for the fact I used to cover just about every single demo I possibly could back in the days when there weren't very many live streamers.
So we've been having a conversation over the past couple of days, well, past week really, haven't we, on and off, about the future of the country, where it's going, our concerns, and things like that. And we were having this conversation, and we came to this conclusion. It's more like we really need to get on a podcast and discuss this, and everybody listen to what we're actually saying about this, because this might resonate with a lot of people out there. What our concerns, what we've got,
and my hope is that people already know what we're going to say, but. I think the reason for doing this is in case people aren't aware, because it seems like, from some of my perspectives at least, I can only speak for myself, it seems like a lot of people aren't aware of a lot of things that could happen, even though they're talking about things like civil war.
Yeah, that segues straight into this, because I've actually got some information on screen. So the first thing is the steps to civil war, because there's a lot of confusion. A lot of people don't understand. How are we going to get to civil war? How would it kick off? What could really start it? And start this off. So we'll have a look at this on screen first. I've actually got to share it, haven't I? Right. So steps to civil war. I don't know if you can see this, Tom. Can everybody see that?
Yes. Oh, I see what you mean. I might have to read it a bit out.
Right. I'm going to read it out. Right. So civil war typically begin through a series of stages, including the organisation of resistance, application of violence, and escalation of conflict. I don't think we're at that stage yet. I don't think that has happened yet. I think the first bit started here. Number one, building a resistance structure, mobilization. Opposition groups form, often recruiting members from marginalized communities or those dissatisfied with current government. This stage involves gathering support and resources to challenge the existing authority. I would say that's very indicative of the left at the minute. I think that's what they're doing because they're gathering support from marginalized communities to go against the government, aren't they? What do you think?
And they're heavily funded. Heavily funded.
Yeah. Organization.
And that, yeah, absolutely. And if you ever went to any of the counter protests, you'll see how organized they are, because the placards that you see them carry, unlike us who make them at home or whatever else, they're provided for them. They get off a train, they pick up a placard, they go do their stuff. All the weapons of their trade are supplied for them.
Yeah.
Organisation.
Antifa are very well organised. They're coordinated. I went to a protest in Nottingham, and I was actually videoing them, organising. They had leadership. Leadership was turning up and telling them where to go, how to counter the other protests.
Yeah.
They're organised. Yeah. They are very, very organised. So we'll take a look at
organised and funded.
We'll take a look at some of these steps.
Come here, Sue.
So
mute me a sec, Ben.
Yeah. So establishing leadership, a clear hierarchy and command structure are created within the opposition to coordinate efforts effectively. I think we just covered that, haven't we? I don't think that's happening much on the right, because we are definitely not united. We are not coordinated at the minute. Not in the respect of a civil war anyway. I think it's just more of a protest movement at the minute, isn't it? With the left. I don't think this applies to us either, applying violence. I don't think that's there yet. It's nothing to do with us. This, however, number 3, escalation of protests. Insurrectionary protests can escalate into civil war, especially when the government responds with repression. This has been observed in various contexts, such as the Arab Spring, where peaceful protests turned violent. Now, we are seeing that regarding the right with the escalation of protests and the suppression of the government on those protests for just being peaceful. We've seen that happen, Tom. That's definitely happening.
Well, that's not even in question now. That's a given now. We've seen it too many times.
Yeah, it is. We're definitely getting there in that regard, most definitely.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Political and social factors. Peripheral challenges. Civil wars can arise from challenges in peripheral regions where central government is weak, leading to demands for autonomy or independence. What do you make of that one, Tom? Where do you think that's applicable to our current situation?
Government's definitely weak because they don't have the people. They brought people in that are against their own best interests. Everything in the Western world is being bought and paid for by things like Saudis and stuff like that. I mean, that's not even a conspiracy anymore. They're doing it out in the open. Boxing, UFC, WWE, all this stuff. And our government, I think it's trying to pose itself as strong, but I think we know that it's weak in terms of the way it deals with, problems like immigration and stuff like that.
Yeah, I best described our current government as a house of cards built on sand dunes. That's how strong they are. Absolutely. They are a group of people that are functioning by themselves at the moment, and that's dangerous for them as much as it is for us. Yeah, I suppose I'm saying they're operating above the law. Steve just brought a good point up here. He's saying for relevant for the likes of Birmingham, Bradford, and London. We'll take a look at that. Definitely. So we'll look at external influences, foreign intervention. This is definitely applicable. Foreign intervention. Yeah, definitely. So, foreign intervention or support for one side can exacerbate. I can't pronounce that word. Exacerbate. That's it. Thanks to Tom. Tensions. No worries. Full-blown civil war. This can include military aid, funding, or political support for opposing groups. I think it's political support for
Look at
opposing groups.
Elon Musk the other day.
Yeah, definitely. And also George Soros supplying support for the lefty movements.
Yep.
So in conclusion, they just come to a conclusion here. This is basically what they're saying. Understanding these steps can provide insight into the complex dynamics that lead to civil wars. Each conflict is unique, and that's very, very true, influenced by specific historical, social, and political context. But the general patterns of resistance, organization, violence, and escalation are common threads in many civil wars throughout history. So that's that.
Right.
Now, I've seen all the political commentators. They all look to Yugoslavia when they think of a civil war here. So briefly, we'll just take a look at this, because this is what happened in Yugoslavia, and then we'll have a discussion about that as well. Then let me get this off. So stop sharing. I've highlighted the topic because I think that's the most applicable part in this. The Yugoslavian Civil War was primarily fueled by a deep-rooted ethnic tensions and nationalistic sentiments among the various ethnic groups within Yugoslavia. We can definitely see that within this country, can't we, Tom?
Yeah, absolutely. I think everybody could, to some degree, agree with that. So, you prefaced this video the fact that neither of us want this, right? And I absolutely, I just want to concur. But there's also a feeling of inevitability in some people. So let's go right back to basics, because you've got a little bit more of an insight on some of this than some of us could have, because you've been to certain countries and stuff.
Yeah.
But the first thing is, we talked on Twitter about X, whatever, about the fact that I was saying to you, who's going to fight this war? Although it's a traditional war, one person, one group, one side, one group, the other side. Not even a thought in my head about whether there could be 3, 4, 5, 6 factions. And what I was saying was, are the British even capable of a fight when they've been living in a Western world that's toppling? Do they realise the enemy that they're up against? Because it seems to be what you said, this petition culture, this is going to fix things. And my worry is there's a lot of people talking about civil war, but do they realise it's not going to be one big punch up and that's it? Have we got a realistic idea of what it looks like? And do people realise maybe how close it is, and are they prepared to fight it? You've given me some hope in this, but that's where I was at.
Right, I'll try and explain. I think a lot of the public in this country, that when you talk about civil war, they think about the US Civil War. They think about the English Civil War, where it was basically just two sides fighting against each other. It's not going to be like that. This is modern civil war. We're going to have lots of different factions. You've got to look about what's in this country. Be realistic about it. We've got a lot of Muslims in this country. We've got a lot of terrorists in this country, terror cells are in this country. And let's not forget, right, there are different factions of Muslims that will fight against different factions of Muslims as
Absolutely.
well. It'll be a fractured civil war where you will have lots of different factions fighting over different turf. You probably have the Muslims in Bradford fighting over Bradford.
It kind of makes it sound like we'd go back into a tribalistic society of kingdoms.
Yeah, you'll have the Muslims in Birmingham fighting over Birmingham. You'll have the people in London fighting over London. And then once two sides established, it will probably turn into two sides, because once all the other smaller factions have been eliminated, the two bigger factions will go at it. Now, who those two bigger factions are going to be, I don't know. I can't predict that. But that's
because it would depend on the wins and losses between the others to that point.
Yeah.
And so when I said to you that I was frightened that, and again, this is not a diss on my English comrades, I'm going to use as a funny word, from the left. because it's not a dig at the English people. It's a concern. There's a lot of people who are, again, willing to talk about this, but I don't know if they've really got a very good political grasp of it, and a grasp of if we was to enter into this. Okay, I talked to you earlier on about keeping. At the moment, the government's trying to take our ability to protest, to be on the streets in the first place away, trying to take this communication we've got right now away. These are all the things at the moment that we've got. So we're very vulnerable.
I mean, I brought this up to you that eventually you're going to see that these exclusion zones around illegal immigrant hotels where nobody's going to be able to protest.
Yeah.
It's going to be, you step in them, you're under threat.
Look what they did to Dover. Look at what they did to Dover. They made it practically a crime for a member of the public to go down there with a camera.
Yeah, this is right. Carl, it's sectarian. It's going to be sectarian violence. It's going to be sectarian civil war, where the different ethnicities divide up, and then they go and attack their natural enemies. We're actually already seeing parts of that in London, because you've got the tribal warfare going on in London between the different factions that fought against each other in Africa and now fighting against each other in the streets of London.
And it's like that woman on my channel the other day, that lady that went to the marches and said they weren't racist, whatever. She said, I think this is what's changed, is she said, the white British people had noticed that towns like London, Luton, and she went through so many towns, and it made me realize at one time we were just talking about London being the capital we lost. But what she's saying is all these towns are now unrecognizable to the indigenous people.
Yeah,
so I think if anybody goes into a local town centre now, I don't recognise my town centre now. I don't recognise it. It's nothing like when I was growing up. I don't recognise the people. The languages are all foreign, and it's not a nice place to be. So I would put it to you like this: before we get to maybe the violence, attacks, and everything else, I'd put it to you like this: if we're going down the road to civil war, they've got the media, they've got the councils, they're in Parliament, and they're in all the places as well where money unions are. So at the moment, to me, it seems very one-sided. That's why I've got such a negative view I've got a negative view of it anyway, obviously, because I don't want my countrymen to be in a civil war. But what I mean is, if it came down to it, I've got a very worried view about how we respond to it, when some people don't even really seem to understand the danger. They're living maybe a little bit away from all this, you know what I'm saying? And they're not, it's a fantasy. It's a fantasy football game to them.
Yeah, I'm just going to address this comment here. Yeah, Steve, you've got to realise, right, a lot of the English, they're not culturally aware. They don't know that the Civil War was, against a lot of other different people. They just think Cavaliers and Roundheads, and that's all they think. They don't think about the bigger picture.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right.
That's what your average person in Britain will think.
It's about the way people perceive things. It's not necessarily that we're going over accurate historical ground. It's about the perception of people.
Yeah, it's how the general public sees the world around them. That's it.
Yeah, and it's the way it's been sold. Yeah, absolutely. And it is just a framework to try and actually work against, to show that if something like this came along this time, it would be far more complicated. But again, yes, there was complications. There's complications in every single war about who's on whose side. The Vichy French versus the French resistance is a perfect example. So,
Yeah, I mean, going over the conversation we had, you just said, I've got concerns, Vin. I've got real concerns about this country and what path we're actually going down. And I just laid it out to you bluntly, didn't I? I just said, we're on the path of civil war. There's no way we can get off this path now. This is the path the government has set us on. It's not a path we want to be on. It's not a path that I want.
No.
When you have a government in power that simply refuses to listen to the people and then starts cutting off every avenue of peaceful resolution, what are you left with?
Well, what they're doing is they're taking what's already been bad government over the last God knows how many years, and they're actually putting fuel on that fire. They're stoking it. They're making it so much worse. Whereas before, people could be relatively easily pacified at times. I feel like they're putting fuel on the fire, which is another thing. The government are now actively attacking their citizens, which for me surely is another prelude for war.
Yeah, I know a lot of people. There's a lot of conspiracy theories out there about the government is doing this deliberately to stoke a civil war, so they can come up from the ashes and they can install their communism and all that kind of thing. And you know, they've got a viable point. Yeah, they've got a viable point. It's a good point. I mean, is that what they're trying to do? Because it seems like that.
I see. It's hard for me. I mean, yes, I think a lot of people absolutely want that, and there's no question of it. When I think of Starmer himself, it's possible that he thinks he wants it. It's possible that he thinks he wants it. And what I mean by that is whether he would be able to grapple with the reality. Because the guy's, I don't know how to say it without using just a crass word to describe him, but to hell with it, he's a pussy. He's a pussy. Yeah. And so when push comes to shove, he goes red-faced and looks very angry, but when push comes to shove, I don't think the guy has a backbone. And so I think if it came to civil war, I think somebody else would be encouraging it. I'm not saying he's against it because he's creating the conditions for it. I don't even know if he's smart enough to realize that. Do you know what I mean? I don't know with him. He's such a dullard. Yeah,
I think.
But he is programmable, so yeah, possibly.
Yeah, I always have this argument with some of my subscribers when I'm talking about this in the comments and live streams, and they always bring this up, and I bring it up. I mention sometimes incompetence, and they say it's not incompetence, it's by design, but I think it's a mixture of both. I think if you get a group of people that are incompetent deliberately to wreck the country, then you have plausible deniability. You can say, well, they're just useless at the time, so they're deliberate.
Don't get me wrong, there's an argument for incompetence to a degree, because a lot of smart people have said don't put down to conspiracy what you can often put down to incompetence. But like you said, it's also a great cover. It's a great cover to look at a government that's bundling along like it doesn't know what it's doing, you know?
I mean, so you look at the Labour front branch, the front branch of the Labour Party, and it's like there's no one in a million years would pick those people to be the government of a country.
No, and there was a time in Britain where you could get the front bench of the Labour Party, stand up and say, who on this bench is a millionaire? You might get one person stand up. Those days are gone.
Yeah.
Those days are gone. Now the whole front bench has to stand up.
Yeah, the Labour Party isn't the party of the working class anymore. It's the party of the upper to middle class, and that's it.
So to try, because I feel like I've danced around it, to try and get to the heart of the concern I've got, Ben, it's about fighting. And I'm not trying to say at one point in this, I'd be all right. I'd be the one to go and, because nobody knows how they'd be until something happened. So I'm not trying to say I'm different from other people. My concern is that we as a collective, except for people like yourselves that have been out there and seen certain things, or people in the armed forces that have for the rest of us, are we prepared to fight in a way where we are seeing beheadings? We are fighting amongst that kind of violence.
Yeah, I'll tell you something now. We saw earlier this week that ISIS called for ISIS terror cells and ordinary Muslims in this country to take up the mantle and to attack people.
Right.
I won't go into too much detail because it's YouTube, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry if I said too much there.
No, it's not your fault. It's like to attack people on the streets and commit horrific acts. Yeah, and we know there are people out there that will do that. We've got loads of them in.
But not just that they would do it. But not just that they would do it. People need to understand, like David Rudikabana, conditioned to the point, like from Rwanda, conditioned to the point where killing means nothing. It means nothing to them.
No, I mean, you've got to look, because people don't realise it. They think Muslims are warm and fluffy. They think of you as less than cattle. If you're a non-believer, to them, you're less than cattle. And they will treat you as such. You're just something that stands in the way of their caliphate. That's it. Full stop.
Yeah, and something you discussed offline, which is important because we knew this. We used to teach this when we first started in the movement. It's gone quiet about it, but what we said about the cities, once they start, wherever they go in the world, once they start to gain a majority of any kind, is the pure moment they switch to attack mode.
Yeah, exactly.
Something you brought up earlier on.
We're starting to see that now, aren't we?
Yes.
With the rise. And the Labour Party is going to get a real rude awakening at the next local elections, because the Muslim bloc isn't going to be voting for them. It's going to be voting for the Muslim independents to get them into Parliament. That's what they're working towards. They're working towards building a majority in Parliament. Then all those independents will link up, and then they'll have a majority in Parliament. That's what they're working towards.
So I want to come back to the violence in a minute, because I want your take on what you think a battle, if you like, would look like. Because I think actualizing these things, it's important, because I think the internet leaves so much room for fantasy, you know, and I think it's important to actualize some things so that people. The other thing as well is we both don't want there to be a civil war, right?
Yeah, we don't.
So actualizing things, things.
Right. What people don't realise is, right, in a civil war, the whole society breaks down. There'll be no law. There'll be no law. There'll be no law out there. It'll be like medieval times. Everybody for themselves. Yeah.
In this country, a civil war with multiple factions. And if you don't think there would be multiple factions, go ask yourself why you think that. In this country, it would there would be no winner in terms of the quality of life, both during and after.
Yeah, it would take literally decades for the country to recover, if not, maybe centuries to recover from it. It'd be that impacted, because the thing about civil war is, after you've had the civil war, you've then got to live with the people you've just had a civil war with.
Exactly. And look at Ireland,
Yeah.
And look at places like that. And I know it's slightly different, but you could still place similarities of how, and just, Catholic versus Christian, something that's come from the 14th century. These things do hang over our society. So there's no point pretending we would all get along afterwards just fine, because it doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work that way.
I'm just going to answer this comment, because it's spot on, right? The lefties won't last long. They quickly start to join us, and that's it. You would see the lefties saying, "I've always been right wing. I've always been right wing. I've never been a lefty." Yeah,
that's what you. What was I saying to you earlier on, Vin? They would hide behind our legs.
That's what you'll see, because the minute they start to see this massive enclave of angry Islamists heading towards their nice leafy suburbs, gated communities, going forward and doing what they do best, they would quickly say, "We need help. We've got to side with these guys."
Gays for Palestine. Oh, they all hate us and want us dead, and they're coming for us right now. Who's the only people on this planet that might have the compassion to save us? Oh, it's that people we've been calling racist the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
And that. Sorry, go on.
And I say this every time. The lefties don't want to live in the world they're creating for themselves. They don't want to live in that.
That's right. And it is the other thing. I said to you off camera. We've been in a world where we had the 20th century to learn from. And ironically, Antifa's ruined part of that by stealing things like Never Again and stuff like that. But nevertheless, we had fascism to learn from. We had communism to learn from. And if I was to say to you today, fascism was misunderstood, quite rightly, you and everybody else would come down hard on me. Yeah. If I say communism, Marxism is misunderstood, half the country agrees. And the arrogance of that statement, the arrogance of the statement they make is, but it hasn't been done by us, as though they wouldn't exploit and do the same things that the ideology naturally leads to, because they're better human beings. It is the epitome of arrogance.
They never understand, right, that to implement communism, they need to have total state control of everything, and that includes people's lives. They don't understand that. They think, and this was interesting, right? because they don't realise all these college students, they think it's going to be a utopia. No, nobody has to work. No, but the thing is, when you have a centrally planned economy, the government tells you where you go. So if they say, right, you're going to work down a coal mine for 16 hours a day, that's where you're going under communism. You don't get a
But
choice.
this is why the government target the young, though, because to the young, the idea of utopia, when said simply or said in Thomas More's terms, sounds pretty good. Sounds like a good deal until you see what it would actually look like in practice and how it would need to be enforced, and therefore would be a complete sham.
You'll remember, Tom, when the Soviet Union fell and the Western news media first started going into Soviet Russia to have a look around. What did they find about the party members in Soviet Russia, the way they were living, to the way the peasants were living?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the whole scam of communism. Is we're all going to suffer together. Stalin said it. We're all going to suffer together. Whilst no, the people in that party lived in luxury, and Chairman Mao did the same thing. And when visitors from the outside came in, like Donald Trump's just done, they would show them all the lavish things that they had and say, there is no famine here. There is no hardship here. This is how these countries deal with these things.
Look at North Korea. they had massive grain famines, and millions of people died. Yet, nothing happened here. Nothing to see here, everybody.
Yeah, that's right. And they know they'll get away with it.
Yeah, and I always say this, and I love this analogy. I love this analogy what people make when they say, right, if communism is so great, then when the Berlin Wall fell, which way did the people run when the Berlin Wall fell?
Right. And by the way, you bringing that up, it's very important because, again, the results of civil war and things like that. The Berlin Wall was taken down how many years ago? I can't even remember now. Many years ago. I remember when it was taken down. Sorry?
1990.
Right. And I remember watching it. And if they show you a map today, you can find it online. I'm not sure how you search for it, but I saw it on another channel. They showed this map and they showed you the levels of belief in communism, levels of poverty, all these major things about a people and a state before the wall and after the wall. And what they found is the same inequality and everything else still exists there in East Germany as opposed to West Germany as a result of everything that happened, including the belief systems. There's still a huge scar there.
It's like muscle memory, isn't it? It's like they can't move past it because it's how they've always lived. They can't move past it. Yeah, and it's amazing how quickly people can adapt to some of these systems, like a communist system, because once you're in it, people are doing your thinking for you. And by the time you realise it's too late and you want to fight back, they've already got everything in place to stop you, and you're already starving to death and not strong enough to fight. That's how they've done it. But we're not just up against that. We're not just up against a tyrant government that's trying to do that. We're in a position where it's going to be people versus the government, left versus the right. Some say good against evil, but I think if you start putting it in those terms, you're going to create a Star Wars picture that makes it all sound ridiculous. So I think you've got to be careful about that, even though that's what people are saying. And I do agree with them, but I think saying that out loud sounds like a propaganda tool. So taking it back to the conversation we're having on Twitter, you wanted to know what the actual it would look like, what the battle would look like, and what would happen.
Because all I can picture in my head, if I'm honest, is the Brits thinking, we just need to have a punch up. And I could see a mess of violence coming our way that people just won't be prepared for. And we could lose a lot of people before they even realise they're in a war. That's my fear.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are just going to think, it's just the Southport riots. When it starts to kick off those things, it's just the Southport riots. It'll blow over.
Yeah.
And then it won't.
Exactly then.
Yeah.
Exactly then. That's that. So what does that look like? And am I wrong? Is there a way out of this?
The only way out of it I can see at the minute is for the government to listen. We know that's not going to happen. We know they're not going to listen. They just keep doubling down because They're working to an agenda. We know it's Davos. We know it's the World Economic Forum that is puppeteering all these people. I mean, going off topic, but look at what happened with Palestine yesterday. They all came out together and announced they were all supporting the Palestinian state.
Yeah.
All of them at the same time. All of them.
Yeah.
I'm not.
And the other thing as well is, didn't there used to be a rule? Didn't there used to be a rule amongst? Sorry, Vin.
Yeah, it just shows that all these people work in lockstep together. They're all in it together. They have discussions, and they're told what to do and what to say at a certain time.
Yeah.
That's it.
And that's why I was saying to you earlier on, sorry, and I'm shifting subjects quickly again, but I worry that people see the success in America of the right, and a lot of the media is coming from America. They see Musk and other people reaching out to us over here, and they don't realize that we're right on the edge of a socialist continent, and it's more likely, because we haven't got an election for 4 years, that we will be absorbed into that socialist continent far more than we're likely to be allied with America if things keep going the way we're going.
Yeah, I think people think, we said this, didn't we, earlier, about, I said it in my video this morning, about everybody's putting their faith in this long shot in 4 years of an election. And it's like, it's stopping people from coming to a solution now when it's needed. The battle is being fought now, not in 4 years' time.
And I'll tell you what it sounds like almost, and I don't mean to offend anyone who's religious, but what it sounds like is faith. And what I mean is faith in the people that will get in power in 4 years, if they could get in power. And one, that is dangerous to put your eggs in a basket like that. But two, it is completely neglecting the next 4 years, as you so much more eloquently put it.
Yeah, it's worth going over again, isn't it? What I said in my video, where I said they've got this mentality of the government isn't listening to our petitions, so they'll get together, they'll have a discussion, they'll get conferences together, and then their bright idea is, well, they're not listening to our petitions. Let's have a petition about them not listening to our petitions.
Yeah,
that's how
about the petitions. Let's have a protest about the lack of protests.
Yeah.
So, without my interruptions, what do you think a conflict, if it happened? Sorry about this. I'm just using this quickly. What do you think a conflict, if it happened, truly looks like in terms of the? And again, I don't. If I say the violence, that's going to come out. That's going to come across wrong. But that's the bit I'm concerned that people may not understand. You know,
speaking from experience, this can go two ways. In my opinion, there's two ways it could happen. The first one being, it could be like V for Vendetta, where somebody accidentally gets killed at a protest, and that just ignites everything. And it's like, it's go time. That's it. We're not taking it anymore. You've overstepped your mark, and that just ignites across the country, and it doesn't stop. It just keeps going. It grows and it grows and it grows. It just doesn't stop until it's outside the PM's front door. The other one is that we Brits don't kick it off. The natives don't kick it off. And some Islamists decide to target something, and they kick off. Maybe they go against a different faction, like it's the Jews and the Islamists. They kick off together, and then we get caught in the middle. And because of that, we have to step up to the plate and start. Right, we need to pick a side now and start fighting. I think that's definite. I think there are two very reasonable possibilities of how it's all going to kick off. Regarding the Brits, I think it's going to be a slow burn. I think it's going to be a slow realization that, this is real shit now. If you don't start defending yourselves, your families are going to die. I think it's going to be a slow burn. It's going to be a slow realization. Like we said before.
But you gave me some hope, because you said to me, Tom, I've seen Brits. Because it's not that I'm calling my countrymen weak. I'm saying unprepared. There's a difference. And you said to me, Tom, I've seen British people when they realise their families are in trouble, they can do it.
Yeah, I don't think it's just Brits. I think it's every human being. I think if you're put in a situation where it's your family's in extreme danger, you will do anything to protect them. I've seen it happen. I've seen people who said they'd never pick up a gun in their life and shoot somebody to protect people. It will happen. Everybody's capable of it. Everybody.
How long it takes? Sorry, you're posting text.
Go on.
No, go on. Sorry, Ben. You got a sound going outside. I didn't realise you were talking. Carry on.
Yeah, with how long it actually takes them to come to that realization, that's the question. Will they come to the realization quick enough before they get wiped out? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to the person in your chat, Jack. I just wanted to say, nothing's wrong with UKIP. I'm a UKIP member. I've joined UKIP. I love Nick Tenconi, but do you think that? And as much as I love him, I think he's a powerhouse. I've seen him live. I've been at the demos with him. He is a powerhouse of a man, which is why I joined. But do you think that they have a chance of taking over government in 4 years' time?
They don't. They've got no chance.
And I don't mean that harshly against Nick. It's nothing against Nick. It's about the history of this country and how long it takes to build a party.
The thing is, Tom, as well, if you listen to Nick himself in some of his interviews, he said himself that he's probably looking at 2030 before his party is ready to challenge anything.
Because he knows the score.
Yeah. He said it himself. So
it's nothing against UKIP. Nothing at all.
I'm not sure which interview it was. I think it was with, was it Liam Tufts? I think it was Liam Tufts, that interview. He was saying, he says, I've literally got to find 650 candidates and train them up myself with how to deal with the media and that sort of thing. He says that will take time. He says, I haven't even got 650 candidates. So you're looking at way beyond 4 years. Way beyond 4 years.
But just let me make it very clear. I love Nick Tenconi. I think he's absolutely brilliant. I've been there with him. I've interviewed him. He's absolutely fantastic. And I believe he could be the future of the country one day. But we've got 4 years. 4 years of Starmer tearing things to pieces that we may not even survive.
I mean, I thought maybe he'll go, but I think he'll stay the course. I think this guy will stay the course because he's been put in that position for a reason, and it's to manage the decline of the country. That's what his job is. He doesn't care about that. That's a very astute, actually, observation.
Yeah, say that again, what you just said, because that's really, really important. He's been what? Say it again.
He's put in a position to manage the decline of the country. That's his job.
Wow. What a statement. What a statement. And yet, who wants to argue that? Does anybody want to put an argument? Sorry, I'm on your channel, Ben. I don't mean to be presumptuous, but I just wondered if anybody wanted to argue that point, because I think that's a fantastic point that's not been said in those words before.
Why do you think the opposition towards him is so weak in Parliament? It's because they're all paid by the same masters. They're all dancing to the same tune. All of them.
Yeah.
That's why there's not...
He's there to manage. Do you think as well... Sorry, I was just going to say, do you think as well it's optics as well? Because he's the person people expect to destroy the country, so it kind of fits the political narrative as well.
Oh yeah, he doesn't care what people think about it. He doesn't care because he knows once all this is done, he's having that massive pension that's protected by an act of Parliament, by the way. So that can't be taken off of him. He knows he's got a really big pot of money where he can disappear to any country in the world once all this is over. He's not going to stay in Britain. He won't be able to stay in Britain.
Without me trying to be cute or sarcastic, I'm asking a genuine question. What do you rate of his intelligence? It's very easy to just jump on and go, he's fucking and sorry, excuse my language, that he's really stupid and stuff like that. And maybe, and I kind of do see him as partly stupid, but not completely. But I just wondered what your assessment of this guy is, other than the obvious that he's unhinged.
He's a high-functioning sociopath. That's what he is. He's a high-functioning sociopath. He doesn't care about anything around him. All he cares about is status and, his agenda. And, all these people care about is money, power, and public status, world status. That's what he does it for. He doesn't give a shit about us. None of them do. They don't care about us at all. He's
definitely trying to be a hero for a socialist, isn't he?
Oh, God, yeah. He's obviously people... I don't know if people know. I know you know. I know that he went behind the Iron Curtain during the 80s and was working in a work camp in Soviet Russia. So that's it. He's a Trotsky communist through and through. He's not a socialist.
An interesting thing to notice about those people. Interesting thing about Trotskyists and that is a lot of them normally, as they get to later life, they usually convert to the right. So he must be pretty deep in that he hasn't changed.
Oh God!
Do you know what I mean?
He's deep in. Look at where he is. Look at that interview where they had with him.
He's book smart as a lawyer. Sorry, that was a good comment. Sorry.
So where he said, which system do you prefer, Westminster or Davos? And he chose Davos. That should tell you everything you need to know about that man. Everything.
That's what I've been trying to tell people. They don't even hide it anymore, and we still go, what does it, what's his intentions? And they're not even hiding it. You're absolutely right. I mean, of course, now he would say that he's totally against it, whether if he's caught on the wrong station or the wrong moment. But yeah, there's a whole video library of things that he's said that absolutely disqualify him to even be in the position that he's in.
Yeah, I just want to tap this one in. Yes, Trotskyist. You go and research Keir Starmer. You go and research him. He's very much a Trotskyist.
Yeah, yeah. All these people, Trotskyists, Marxists, and they all miss the lesson of it. They all totally miss the lesson of it, because and here's something I said on when I first started this podcast, when people weren't quite as advanced in all this as they are now, and I'm talking about audiences. Back then, I used to say to people, if you were born in Nazi Germany, you could very well have been one of the people gassing Jews in the chambers. And people would look at their modern sensibility and go, that wouldn't be me. I would have done this. I would have done that different. And that's just denial. That's denial, because those people would have done different if they could have done.
And that's my laptop charging up. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, it's
can. Is that mine or yours?
Yeah, it's the charger.
It's you. That sounds like. It sounds like it's your charger in your laptop.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it interferes with it.
Yeah, it sounds like power transfer.
Yeah,
it's okay. It's not bad. It's not bad.
That's all right. Yeah, it's the patch going down the laptop. Let's switch it on. But yeah,
he's more like the Saddam Baath Party leader. I like that comment.
Yeah, we are. I always want to try and sound a little bit positive and a bit of hope, but people need to realise we're screwed at the minute. We are absolutely screwed because there is no answers. People come to me in my videos and say, "What solutions have you got?" It's like, without absolutely incriminating myself and going online and calling for things
exactly.
I don't want to call for. Exactly. That's it.
I do think we need a network of communication that goes beyond what we've got now, because they are in control of this. And sooner or later, they could pull this. We need communication. Otherwise, if something like this did happen, we would have no way of organising. We need to be... Sorry.
But if people are smart, they won't organise online. They won't...
No, exactly.
Yeah, they won't organise online. I think it's a big mistake organising protests on Facebook and social media. I think it's a big
Louis Geffen. Sorry, Ben, I'm terrible. Sorry, it's the sound coming in and out. Just what Louis said there. We need a system outside their system.
Exactly.
Yeah, that one. It's just amazing. Exactly.
This leads into that you can't fix the system from within the system. You can't fix the broken system using the mechanisms of the broken system. You can't do it because it's always stacked against you. It's rigged against you. So you can't do that. And it's not because it's particularly broken. I suppose that's wrong. It's because the people who are in charge won't let you fix it. That's the trouble.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. In terms of the something on the thing saying about being misleading who Trotsky was, regardless of who he was, it's how people have interpreted him, regardless, and how they interpret him is very clear. So either way,
that's exactly.
A lot of these people were just revolutionaries.
So
sorry,
going back to our conversation that we had, is there anything you want to bring up about the conversation that you want me to answer or get into? We went through the conversation.
Okay. Well, on the caveat that if you don't, I don't know at YouTube, and I don't know about you. So if you are not comfortable, please just say pass. Yeah, because I don't know, because we haven't discuss what we're going to talk about.
Okay.
You said some things to me, and I don't expect you to go in detail, but you said some things to me that you'd seen, and I said, and you said to me, but this isn't something I'd put in public. And I said, I understood exactly why as soon as you said it. But so I'm wondering if in a roundabout way, without incriminating or anything else, if there's a way of you saying the things that you've seen so people understand what could be coming their way. And I'm worried about asking you this at the same time, because I don't want to be seen as deliberately trying to frighten people and incite people. That's not the goal. It's to try and wake people up a little bit of what might be coming.
I can probably say briefly what I saw. I'll tell you one thing that I was, I've got to be careful because I've got an NDA in place as well, so I've got to be really careful how I word it and how I say it.
Okay.
I won't mention locations or anything like that, but when I was doing my job that I did previously, everybody knows what that job is, I think, by now. We were out on patrol, we were doing our job that day, what we did, and we came across a village where ISIS had been, and this was a remote village. You know, this was properly remote. We came across it. Everybody in the village had been wiped out. We saw men, women, children with their heads cut off, put on spikes outside the town as a warning to anybody else that if they go against ISIS, that's what they can expect. And if things kick off in this country as bad as that, which I think they could, that's what you need to think about. And you've got to remember, civil war is not thousands of miles away. It's literally in your garden. It's in your garden, and it doesn't go away. You don't clock off in a war. It's there 24/7.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't clock off. You never clock off.
That's what I'm worried about. Exactly, and that's what I'm worried that people are thinking it's going to be just a bit of a skirmish, they have
this like rainbows and flowers view of it, like it's going to be Crusader knights with swords charged into battle and all that kind of thing. The realistic thing is people will die. You don't respawn. It's not like Call of Duty. You don't respawn. Once you're dead, you're dead.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yes, and exactly. You got it. Yeah. And I'm worried that is exactly because of the internet, not the way that some people are seeing it to some degree. And I'm not saying perhaps to a literal degree of that, but to some degree of that. And I do worry that people's guard will be down. And I find it frightening. I think probably not many people will be able to relate to this, but you're a Star Wars fan, right? You saw the Kenobi show.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Bad as it was, you saw the scene with Darth. Yeah, exactly right. But you saw the scene with Darth Vader's walking through the village, and he's just the necks of people and that are snapping as he's walking through, just because he's trying to flush someone out. So he just snaps the neck of everything, and that's my fear. That scene there, if you was to turn that into something a little bit more reality based, that's my worry. What you saw in that scene, just the amount of human life gone from one side in such a quick and easy way. A bit like, again, the blueprint for Dave Rudy Cabana's attack.
Yeah, we've got to touch on the mentality of the enemy, because ISIS won't give you any mercy because they see you as less than cattle. They think you as less than cattle. They won't give you any minutes. They won't think twice about killing your children. They won't think twice about murdering your entire family to make a point.
Yes. And when Louise went on Danny Roscoe's channel, she talked about, say, Dave Rudy Cabana and the Rwandan side of things, and why he may have covered his face. And a lot of what she said in that, very much from Rwanda, she understands the government. She said that he would have been more ashamed of the amount of death that he did not cause. Do not imagine he is ashamed of killing people. That will be his badge, the badge of honor. He's in shame only because he didn't do enough killing.
Yeah, I'm glad you got into this, because people don't understand the Muslim culture at all. They think it's like ours. It's not. It's honor based. It's honor based. Even though what they would consider as honor, we would consider as dishonor. It's not honorable at all what they do. That he would consider, if you're looking at a ISIS fighter or Rubik's Cube man, whatever his name is, he would consider leaving people alive a dishonor, not saving life. He would consider that a dishonor, not killing everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And if anybody wants more insight into this, as well as what Vin's, Have a look at the interview that Danny Roscoe did with Louise. I can't pronounce the second name. Louise, who's from Rwanda. And the interview he did with her will open your eyes very much towards what Ben's talking about here.
You broke up a little bit there, Tom. You'll repeat that a little bit, mate.
You there, Ben? Oh, I just said, if anybody wants to look into more of what you're talking about, watch that interview between Danny Roscoe on his channel with Louise. I can't pronounce her second name, but she's from Rwanda, and she will really give you a good insight into they really Cabana perhaps, and also the mindset of these people and their attitude towards death.
I'll tell you what, I'm seeing this in the chat, right, let's go into this a little bit about what people are saying about the police and the army. The police will be overrun in a couple of weeks. They won't be able to cope. They'll be gone. Police will be gone. The army, we've got the smallest army since the Napoleonic
Nobody
Wars.
wants to be in it. And nobody wants to be in it.
No.
Let alone fight.
You honestly think that the army is going to come out on the street and fight against their own people, many of which were on the United Kingdom rally? They're not going to do it.
The days are gone.
Yeah. A lot of them are saying,
And the days are gone where we can excuse the police. Sorry, there's a delay, Vin. I'm so sorry.
It's all right, mate. I've got mates in the army, and they've been telling me about how woke it's gone. They've got boards. They've had briefings, and their briefings were telling them not to display the Union flag, not to display the St. George's Cross because it's considered far right. They've got it on their fucking uniform.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That
is the most insane thing. And then what are you asking them? Then what are you asking your people to fight for? You're taking all this away from them. Then you wonder why they don't want to join the army. They've got nothing to fight for.
No, they're asking, right? They're asking, well, why aren't people joining the army? Well, what do you need to join the army? You need people to be patriotic, to want to defend their country. You've been teaching them in universities and schools for decades to hate themselves, to hate the culture and the country. So why are you surprised now that they don't want to fight for it?
Right. Louise brings up a point there. Stalin will bring in the UN peacekeepers. Yeah, another faction.
And that will just escalate things.
Another faction.
People will see.
So do we see now how complicated? Sorry.
Yeah, people will see it as a foreign invasion. If they start deputizing, let's say, the people in the legal immigrant hotels, what was it, conscripting them into the army to fight against the native people? Yeah, it's just going to escalate. It's like pouring petrol on the flames. It's just going to ignite even further.
And I think you said the most important thing to me offline, and I don't know if you said it online today, Tom. We're already in a civil war, which is true. We've already had the Twitter wars, and we've already had it online. It's been a digital war for a while, the culture wars. And you're absolutely right. And I failed to recognize that in the moment. But you said to me before we came on, Tom, we're already in a civil war. It's just not got to the violence part yet.
Yeah, the thing, I'm going to bring this up, right, about the Southport riots, right? So the Southport riots were a different sort of anger. They were a reactionary anger. It was like angry at that moment, at that situation. It dissipated, it faded away. What we've got now is a slow burning under the skin sort of anger that's not going to go away. It's just festering there, and it's growing, and it's building and building and building, and there's no release valve for it.
You're not blocked.
Yeah, they're shutting down on protests. They're coming down hard on the protesters. Free speech we haven't got free speech in this country anymore. That's blatantly obvious.
No.
Every avenue,
only in the House of Parliament.
Yeah, every avenue that we have to release that anger is being suppressed, and it's like what JFK said: those that make peaceful revolution impossible make violent revolution inevitable, and that's the path we are on.
Damon David, we can see your comments, but I can see your comment there. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
What's this? Damon David, top the 3 comments at the top chat. I don't know what he's on about with that. What's that about?
No, Damon David, he thinks his comments are being blocked. I don't think he realizes that we're not in control of that.
No, this is what YouTube will do. If you post anything spicy in the chat, YouTube will just remove it. If you post links
And bear in mind,
in the chat, it'll go.
and bear in mind, my ex mods will tell you when my channel was at its height, we used to get the word kebab banned, and we weren't even joking about it. We never even understood why. So just understand, we don't even know how it works.
I think people need to understand that YouTube's AI algorithm for searching out keywords is rubbish.
Yes,
so,
yes, yes, it is. Totally overrated.
Yeah, that's why so many people's benign comments on my channel get deleted. It's because of something the AI that particular day decided is not good.
I couldn't just say in 2025, somebody came on my channel the other day and accused me of deleting a comment, which is the only time I would do that is someone linked to child porn or was doing harassment of somebody. Yeah. But somebody came on my channel and said it the other day, and it's like in 2025, one thing I will say to people, this is going to sound so passive aggressive, but you should know now you need to go on YouTube and hit newest first in terms of ordering the comments. If you do not do that, you will only get the top few comments. That's all it will show you. So
I do that all the
you
time.
should know that by now. Yeah, you've got to go newest first. Otherwise, you will. And again, in live chat here as well. When you're in live chat, always make sure you've got all comments switched on. Otherwise, it will give you the top ones. You won't even see your own coming out. So that's another thing that people in 2025 should know. But I'm going to say it again because maybe some people don't, because some comments that people think have been deleted are actually there. Another one's just YouTube will just take away. And YouTube, by the way, they're no less soft on the creators. They take our comments away too. You must have had that, Ben.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I've been responding to people, and my comments just disappeared, gone.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not just a user thing; it's a user creator thing. We don't have YouTube creators aren't really. We're not in control of our own channels anymore.
I'll tell you something else to do as well, and you've probably noticed as well. They started removing my
Even
thumbs up and my hearts on comments as well.
Advertising.
You're right, Tom. I think you're frozen, mate. Tom's frozen in time. But I was saying,
yeah. And it's like if I do a live stream and I have 300 people on the live stream, they will reset that counter. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, mate. Yeah.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Am I still frozen?
No, you're not frozen now, mate. You just froze for a bit. That's all. Just a couple of seconds. That's all.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. So it's not new messages. What you've got to choose is newest messages first. I think that's the way. Let me just look online. It says sort by, and you've got to go to sort by, and it says top comments or newest first, and you need comments written under a video, not in this live chat. There's two different things. Sorry, I didn't make that very clear. I'm talking about the comments written under a video. The comments in live chat here are censored live by YouTube.
I'm just making sure he's got a comment on screen so he knows it's not us that we're putting him on screen and stuff. But yeah, I've noticed as well, Tom, that my thumbs up that I give to comments and my hearts disappear as well. They've started.
That's right. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Sorry, I remembered it was now. Sorry, in live chat. Sorry, you always need to toggle all chat as opposed to top chat. Sorry, I apologise, Vin.
Yeah, right. Let's go back to the conversation we had on Twitter. Is there anything else that we'll cover? What else will we cover? Because it was a long conversation. It's hard to go over it again. It was that long. It was over for like 2 days, wasn't it?
Well, I'll be honest with you as well. I said this to you earlier on. We articulated it so much better because it was a natural conversation earlier on.
Yeah.
And what we need to do next time is make sure that when we start a conversation like that, we say, F it, let's go live now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because you were basically finishing off my thoughts for me on there. And I was like, okay, wow, Vin's really got his head in on it. You know what I mean? So I think I said to you beforehand, I've blown my energy before we've even got online, you know? So, but at the same time, no, there are still points. You're not wishing for. Oh, you've gone quiet. You're not wishing for it, but you believe it's inevitable. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's it. We
So,
know what we know what path, we know what path we're on, don't we? We know we're on.
so yeah. So my question is one, is there a way out of it at all? Two, if not, how do we win? With and what? I know I've said what does it look like earlier in the conversation, but would it be do you think it would be a long thing? Do you think it would be relatively short? How do you see it? Or is that impossible to?
The way, like I said, the way out of it will be for the government to listen, but that's not going to happen. Or, obviously, I don't understand, but we know why there hasn't been a call for no confidence. Because if this had been any other government, there'd have been a call of no confidence by now, by literally everybody in Parliament. Because it's obviously they're incompetent and they're risking the safety of citizens in this country. But
Yes,
a way out of it would be for the government to listen, but that's never going to happen. I don't see a scandal big enough to take him out, to take Starmer out of the game. I just don't, because he's had so many big ones that you think surely this is it now. Surely he can't stay in power after this scandal. But then here he goes, carries on. He's still in there.
Wow.
That was no mistake, by the way. That was no mistake that Angela Rayner got taken out the way she did. In the background, you can bet your bottom dollar Starmer had something to do with that, leaking stuff to the press or something like that, to take out his main opposition to somebody that was threatening his power. That's what he did. That's what narcissists do. But a way out of this, a peaceful way out of this would have to involve everybody. You would have to do what the people in France are doing. You would have to have a complete and total shutdown of the entire country in a national strike. If you want to do it peacefully, if you want to make these people listen, do it so they can't function. They literally cannot function in their country anymore because the whole thing is shut down. That's the only way you can do it. Other than that, I don't know, mate. I really don't know. Because
do you? Sorry.
Yeah, go on.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go on.
No, that's all right, mate. I finished anyway. So what are you going to say?
Sorry, there is a delay. Do you think there's a delay between us today, Vin?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, definitely a big delay. You're actually breaking up quite a lot as well on the live stream. So it happens to me on my phone. That's why I stopped doing live streams on the phone, because it's just intermittent.
Right. It shouldn't actually have too much effect, but yeah, I just want to make people aware of the delay. And I apologise if I've talked over you, Vin.
So that again, Tommy, just broke up a little bit, mate.
I said I apologise if I've spoken over you. It is the delay. I'm just going to switch SIM cards to see if it makes a difference. So hopefully it won't take me anywhere. But
you're all right, mate. You have to keep apologising. It's one of those things. It's technology. You should see me on my last laptop. It was an absolute joke, the live streams.
Okay, you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you, mate. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got the same question as the person at the bottom here. Do you believe that we could win a civil war? With everything that you've said and everything you've said offline and everything you've said in your earlier videos today?
It's to do with variables, though, isn't it? It's the variables that come into play. You won't know until it starts if we can win it or not. I can't predict if we're going to win a civil war because we don't know who the players are going to be.
Yeah.
But let's look at the
okay. Let's say it's a simplified version of it, where it's the British people versus forces of the left. Let's try and simplify it for the reason of the question being asked, I think.
All right. If it was just the left and not the Islamists, we'd win. Hands down, we'd win.
Oh, yeah.
Because the left rely heavily on, even though they don't like them, the left rely heavily on police protection to do the things that they do. If they didn't have police protection, they wouldn't get away with half of what they do in this country. Look at speech. If speech wasn't heavily policed as it is, the far left couldn't exist in a marketplace of free ideas, because their ideas will be shut down and destroyed. Absolutely. They will be on the fringe of society. They'd be ostracized. But they need this police protection, this level of censorship to be able to function. But if it came to a civil war, not a chance. I've seen Antifa on the street. They're about 3 stone pitch wet through. We'd walk straight over them. Simple as that. And I'm talking about the everyday average Brit as well.
Yes, yes.
And I've got to say this as well. I'm not advocating for violence. I'm just talking in a hypothetical scenario where things kicked off. Yeah, before anybody gets on the high horse about he's calling for violence inside. No, I'm not. I don't want violence. Tom doesn't want violence. But we're just laying it
No,
on
God,
the line.
no. There's no winner. There's no winner to this.
No.
Sorry, Vin.
Loses. Yeah.
Everybody loses. Yeah.
There's no winner.
You must understand there's a difference between thinking, I'm sorry, I've done it to you again, Vin. There's a difference between thinking that something is inevitable and wanting it. And Jesus Christ, like, if you listen to what we're saying, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to go to whoever said whatever. If you listen to what we're saying is there are multiple factions, the type of violence, the level of violence, and what we were talking about, how long it could take this country to heal. My God, the reason I'm asking, is there a way out of this, is because I want that way out. I want us to be able to triumph without that violence.
Exactly.
But the longer that things are left untended, the more that it becomes the only way that people will have left.
Right, I just want to say this in the chat because people can complain about different people being in the chat. Right, I run a free speech operation. If you don't like what somebody's saying in the chat, come with your best argument and destroy their arguments. Don't ask for them to be censored. Don't ask for them to be removed.
Or ignore them.
Yeah, or ignore them. Yeah, just ignore them. You've got that ability. Words have only as much power as you give them. That's it. That's where it stops. That's where the power ends.
This is where we've got to stop being like the left.
Exactly. This is a lesson the left need to learn, that words aren't violence. They're not violence at all.
Yes. I told Vin, and I wasn't going to share it online, but I'll tell you guys. Last Friday, I was telling Vin it was the last beautiful day of the year. It was 23 degrees. I went out Friday afternoon, and 3 o'clock on the field where I've gone out this summer. I've said this briefly. I rescued a kestrel. I rescued 2 hedge sparrows, and then on the Friday the other day, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, right at the time you're not expecting it, I find a dead body in the field. And it's a field that I go all the time. You see me do. Some people see me do walk talks there all the time, and seeing that is obviously not very nice. But then I said to Vin, it made me come away and also think about the people that are celebrating death at the moment. And you have to ask yourself about the amount of humanity in huge parts of certain populations at the moment. They have become ideologues completely detached from humanity. And I don't know if seeing it in front of them would change them. I don't know if it would make a difference. I don't. And I'm talking obviously referencing Charlie Kirk's celebrators, things like that.
There's scumbags. Right, somebody's just asked me, I was going to talk about the chat, but I'll say it here. Somebody's asked me to turn my microphone up. Unfortunately, I can't at the minute. This is as high as it'll go because I'm using the laptop's microphone. I haven't got my streaming microphone yet. It will improve, but I'm not going to spend 80 quid on a new streaming microphone when I've already got one in storage. So, unfortunately, for the time being, I know it's awful, but that's all I've got.
Vin said it best to me the other day off air. We do what we got the budget to do. As if and when we gain more success and we can and things happen, we can do more when we can do more. If we could have things at that level now, we would do it. It's about building. So things like the sound and that, just bear with Vin. You can see he's got the channel. He's had so many channels taken down, and he's still built another one up and defied it all. And he's still got loads of you coming on. He's good at what he does. And the thing that many people have always told me when I was trying to make my videos all flashy and nice was content over flowers and everything else. So at the moment, it's about what Vin's got to say. We're all working on trying to get better equipment, and I'm sure, Vin, you will the moment you can. But we deal with the cards that we've got.
I mean, I should mention this, right? Because at the beginning of the year, I'm not even sure if you know about this. Obviously, I've moved houses. We got made homeless at the beginning of the year. My family did. We all got made homeless because our landlord went bust. He got the house repossessed off him, and then we got kicked out of the house. So we took a massive financial hit at the beginning of the year, so we're just recovering from that. Everything's still in storage, all my equipment for streaming, everything like that. It's still in storage, it's not come out yet. So I know people don't understand that, but that's the reason why. That's why it sounds a bit echoey here at the minute. It's because we're still working on things and getting things done. But yeah, it's
a lot harder than it looks.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that. It's a lot harder than it looks. There's a lot more goes into it than you might think. There's a lot more time goes into it than you might think. There's a lot more setting up goes into it than you might think.
Well,
And
we were talking about this actually, weren't we? When we were talking about this today, when people criticise you, when they're saying, "Oh, your camera's a bit shaky, your audio's a bit off," they don't realise that you're dodging anti-far and you're trying not to get a bicycle.
You've got to have eyes in the back of your head.
Yeah,
you've got to have eyes in the back of your head. And people say, "Oh, your camera's wandering off." It's like, yeah, because I've got someone walking behind me, balaclavaed up, you know.
Yeah, it's not like we just go out and point a camera and that's it, and it's that easy. It's not that easy at all. And Tom can attest to that, because this is the guy that went out and filmed the rape of Britain. He got his life threatened because of all of that, and it's not something you take lightly. It's something that you have to fully understand before you go and do it, because there are nutters out there. Look at Charlie Kirk, like Tom was saying. Everybody's in danger now because the far left is emboldened by that.
And the celebrations that have been allowed are incitements for more. And that's what I was going to ask you. Do you believe that our government is actually inciting violence by doing things like saying, "Oh, we're going to go after white people worse than we're going to go after the rest of the country and ethnic minorities"? And
look
that's pure incitement, surely.
Yeah, look at their actions. Their actions at Epping Forest, the Bell Hotel, where they deliberately marched up some scruffy lefties to go and shout abuse at patriots. That's incitement. If you want to keep the peace, you keep those two sides apart. Let them protest further down the road, a mile away. Not right.
To me, they're inciting violence right now, and they're getting away with the one massive breach of free speech, the very free speech they don't want.
Exactly. And it happened in the United Kingdom rally last weekend, where we saw them marching up the lefties, right up towards a group of patriots that they sectioned off from the main group. They sent them towards each other just to get those photo ops of the police in riot gear.
Yeah.
That's what they did it for.
I just want to say, reading your viewers, I've got to say you've got some decent viewers with some decent views. And it's actually heartening to see people have the opinions that they have.
I'm glad they're doing it. Yeah. I'm glad they're doing it because it shows people that other people out there have the same opinions that they do. They're not alone.
Yeah,
they're really not alone.
Exactly. And so good on every single person for speaking out on here, by the way, because it allows other people to see these and see that other people got the same sort of position.
Can you drop your link into the chat? Everybody go subscribe to Tom. Is it Tom Generation X on YouTube?
It's hard to know. I'll be honest, Vin. Oh shit. What have I done?
He's frozen again.
Hang on.
Jack subscribed. Nice one, Jack. Isabel wants a link.
Sorry, just got thrown out of StreamYard. Right, it's let me in the chat now. I see what's happening. So I got two channels and I don't know what to do because one's got deepfake stuff on and people now think that everything on there is deepfake. It's not. It's supposed to be. What was supposed to be happening was I was building a new channel up because the other one got censored. So I don't know which one to promote anymore. What I will say is the new one I'm trying to grow is youtube.com, and then what I'm putting in here, but youtube.com / and then at Tom's. Oh, hang on, sorry. Has I got it on there? Right. That's my new channel. But again, deepfake stuff is only for comedy and testing purposes. I will never use it to deepfake anybody, but people are misunderstanding it because it's a new channel. My old channel, which is much bigger. It's got about nearly 20k on there, but is struggling with censorship. That one is at this because at the moment I am releasing more stuff on there because of the problems I'm having getting people to move over. So I'll just put that in as well.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for coming along. You're much appreciated. Giving some really good insights.
And also, just if you're not a fan of this platform, you can find me on X at Share the Risk. So if I just put that in now.
Yeah, go on, mate. There you go.
Right, so going through, so I can't see nothing at the moment. I've got my glasses.
On there, mate. Yeah, it's on there. Go check him out. Go and give him some love. His content, some love.
So is there anything, again, you did mention, before we go, is there anything you wanted to ask the audience in on? Because you did say to me earlier on when we were talking about this, you wanted to just see if they wanted to ask anything more.
Yeah, just general. Did the audience want to know anything from either of us? Do you want to ask any questions while we're here? I mean, eventually, I think is that Isabel's put one up on the screen. So she says, "This it."
That's the new channel. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, she's posted it.
Thank you, Isabella.
But yeah, is there anything you guys in the chat want to ask us? I mean, eventually, I will, once I get my microphone back, I'll be able to get people to come in and we can talk like I'm doing with Tom in a minute, but do interviews and stuff with people, my subscribers, because this is what a lot of big YouTubers don't do. They don't interact with their audience. They're just a chat bar in the side that they just ignore.
Yeah, they do ignore it, and they think they're above it.
It annoys me that, because we're nothing without you guys. We really are. We're just people talking on a live stream without an audience.
Absolutely. I had the peak of my channel had 168,000 people coming in a day. I think made the channel.
I think D.H. Lawrence, right, this is a given, right? Please do better to denounce Nazism and fascism, Bin.
All he said was ignore.
Have you actually seen my videos where I've denounced these things? Where I've come out and said in my morning walks, I've said I denounce communism, Nazism, and fascism. They should be prescribed to the very fringes of society and never see the light of day again. That's me.
What Saint got confused here. Saint's got confused here. What Ben and I were advocating was free speech, and what we were saying was, if you don't like someone who's spewing their vile crap, just ignore them or block them. That's all that was being said. And someone said, be careful who you associate yourself with. Anybody on here who's talking about Nazi stuff and ideologizing it, we're instant enemies. So just to be clear, we're not advocating their views.
Yeah, I'm just going to address this right. So why do you let them in your live chats? Because of free speech. It's up to you to come with better arguments and destroy their arguments. If you can't do that, there's something wrong with your ideology or your way of thinking.
Yeah, and also, as a community, you can choose to, ostracize them.
Yeah, here we go. Look, you attract them in your comments. Attract them. I allow anybody to come with their arguments, their opinions. It's up to you guys in the comments to counter those opinions with good, decent arguments. That's how.
And show them that you and we are not interested in their ideology. You make them look weak, and then they look stupid visiting these channels, and then they won't want to bother again.
What's this? So you can have a swatch sticker picture. You spit on the dead soldiers of World War II. For one thing, don't ever say that to me.
Wow.
Don't ever say that to me.
Wow.
Don't ever say that to me.
No, right, okay. Whoever said that, I don't know anything about you, so but this man has been through things and done things.
Yeah, so it looks like Tom's gone. But yeah, don't ever say that to me. You know nothing about me, you know nothing what I've been through or where I've been or what I've done. And to say my granddad was a soldier in World War II, I do not advocate Nazism or fascism. All right? I mean, no offense, but it's true. If you follow Nazism or if you allow Nazism to flourish in your comments, you can destroy it. Nazism isn't flourishing in my comments. You can destroy it yourself. Yeah? Come up with arguments. It's easy to do. What happens if you censor fascism? What happens if you censor Nazism? It just goes underground and it festers. If you shine the light of day upon it, what happens? Everybody sees that it can't stand. Everybody sees that its arguments can't stand because you're destroying the arguments they're presenting, don't you? You should take a close look at people again, seriously. What about them? What about them? What about the people in the comments? I haven't seen anything that anybody said anything to you. You've just been challenging your views. Sorry, Tom. Tell me about it.
Sorry, Vin, I don't know what happened.
I don't know what, you just like buffered. You buffered, then you just disappeared.
Yeah, just kicked me straight out.
Really?
Yeah, just kicked me straight out. As I was about to speak, it just kicked me straight out.
That's never happened before. Yeah, that guy. I'm not going to block you, DH Lawrence, but don't ever say that to me again. You've got every right to speak in here as everybody else. You've got your free speech to counter their free speech. I suggest you use it.
But never, ever, when you know perfectly well what this man stands for and what many of us stand for. Don't say we're spitting on the graves of soldiers and stuff, but that's what the left do. I'm sorry, I'm going to use a term from the left that I would never normally use, but how dare you?
Yeah, Steve's my moderator, by the way. He's doing a bang-up job. Steve doesn't censor anybody. Steve doesn't censor anybody. He allows you all to speak. He allows you to have your voice. The only thing Steve will ever ban you for is if you start posting dodgy links in the chat.
Yeah.
Saying stuff that will get the live stream banned and me banned off of YouTube.
And just transparency, that's what I used to say to my mods. I don't care what people say to me. I don't care the other stuff they say. Just make sure there's no targeted harassment and links to bad stuff. I used to do exactly the same thing. And exactly. I believe that we triumph over these people by not letting them come. When they come into the chat, when they have no effect, it is demoralizing for them.
Right,
you know?
Right, I'm going to read the comment again. Honestly, not here to upset anybody. Well, you just did by your words. I just care deeply about not allowing fascism to grow. It needs to be challenged.
So do we all.
Yeah, I'm afraid, right? Fascism isn't the issue in this country. It's on the fringes already. You couldn't fill a small car park full of people that are actually fascists in this country. You can't. They're a minority. They're a fringe, and it needs to stay that way. The real issue in this country, which you should be concerned about, is communism, because they are on the rise. Those two ideologies are exactly the same in their methods. You should be terrified that we have those people in Parliament in force. You should be terrified.
Absolutely, I agree.
That you're slightly leaning towards the left on things. I've got a sneaking suspicion.
Or centre, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be polite.
Yeah.
You know.
So you think watching anyone I suspect is a fascist and don't care, just don't mention MP because YT shuts down. Exactly.
And just to make the point here, by giving all the attention to that person that's made a fuss out of it, you've given that ideology more attention than we ever planned to on this video today.
How do you kill an ideology? You don't talk about it.
Bingo. Exactly. So I just want to make that point that if you make a fuss, sorry, Vin.
The thing is, though, Tom, right? That has happened to fascism and Nazism in this country. Nobody will touch that philosophy with a barge pole with an ounce of sense. That's why it's on the fringe. That's why so many people actually are fascists and Nazis in this country. The people he thinks are fascists and Nazis are patriots, nationalists. Being a nationalist doesn't make you a Nazi or a fascist. It just makes you proud of your country, proud of your heritage, proud of your culture. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
No, we I think that, don't forget, we had back in the day. We had
Right,
all the mock.
Right, because I think this is what they're talking about, right? This is Anglo Crusader. You might want to reconsider the Oswald Mosley symbol, mate. Okay? Because Oswald Mosley was no friend of this country. He wasn't.
Sorry for laughing. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. There's sometimes words just.
Yeah. Sometimes I just wonder about things, mate. I wonder about people, and it's like the people that worship the Austrian painter with one ball. It's like they're not actually British patriots. They're German patriots. If you really want to go into all that, but I've left.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
I've left all the ethno-nationalism behind me. If people want to do that, you do that. You do that on the fringes. You will never be mainstream.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. Bear in mind that we have both fought against all that ethno-nationalism and stuff for years. For years. So it's kind of taken as a given that people already know where we stand on these subjects because we've already had these.
The last channel I had, I lost because of the ethno-nationalist rate flagged it down. That's why I lost my last channel.
Exactly. They used to attack me constantly. That's what people don't. That's what I'm trying to say. We fought these people.
Yeah. So when people come to my channel and say you're not doing enough to combat fascists or Nazis, really?
We get attacked by the far left, the far right, the left, the government, and not just us. We are fighting on all sides. And I know some of you don't know me, so that's fair enough. But you obviously you're on this channel because you know Vin, and if you're on my channel, if you know me from my channel, you know me. You know that we fought against these ideologies whenever they've been presented to us in any form. So I really don't see there's a conversation to be had, and that's why I'm not launching into it today because we've had it so many times. At the moment, today's conversation was about the Marxism and communism and everything else that is enabling things like this civil war. So why would people want to turn it into about the non-problem that we've got?
Yeah, exactly. Have you noticed how, I'm not saying they are, but with D.H. Lawrence, have you noticed how D.H. Lawrence was talking about fascists and Nazis in the comments when they literally weren't on?
And yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's telling. It's like, but what about communism? I'd like to know his opinion on communism, what he thinks about communism.
And we need to get rid of the word Nazis because it's something that's been used by the left. What do you really mean by that? What do you mean? Do you mean fascist ideologues that believe in the motherland of Germany? What do you mean? Because whatever you mean, it all comes under the same banner of we don't want to know them.
Tom, Tom, I'll say what TK History. If you watch TK History, he's an awesome YouTuber. Talks all about communism and fascism and stuff like that. This is what he would say. He says, I don't really think there are any racist communists in the chat. And that's what National Socialists are. They're racist communists.
Yes.
And I can say with 100%, there are none of those people in the chat.
I haven't been, like I say, when my glasses are off, I can't see. So, but from what I've seen, I haven't seen it. I've seen someone seeming to react to it, but I've not seen it so far.
But yeah, it's go and check him out. TK History. Lots of people have recommended him to me, and he's good. Tom, before we go, have you looked into a guy called Graham Moore? Everybody keeps telling me to go and check out, research a guy called Graham Moore. He's the English Constitution Party, I think is the name of his organisation. I have looked into him. I'm just thinking, have you heard of him?
No, I'm. You know what I'm like. I'm tepid with new things. So I'll go and check it. I've heard the name, definitely heard the name, and I will go and check him out. Why'd you ask?
People keep this is something I want to discuss because every time I bring up the fact that we need a written constitution and a Bill of Rights, Second Amendment. I believe we need a First and Second Amendment to prevent
Absolutely.
what's happening now from ever happening again. We need that.
Agreed. Yeah.
But people always bring up say we've already got a constitution. It's unwritten. It's like it's been voided by centuries of acts of parliament and modern law.
Yeah.
It's basically voided.
Our constitution is not equal to the American Constitution. Just because we have one, because what it is, it's become a defensive mechanism of the Brits. Well, we've got a constitution as well, yeah, but it's not the thing that dominates how law and everything else actually works. And it's not the thing that actually protects anything, because for the most part, it's like Ben said, it's been overridden or overwritten. So, yeah, we need a binding constitution of principles like free speech that don't get messed with, that if you're going to try and mess with them, it would take a generation to change it, which is enough time to stop it.
The trouble with our unwritten constitution is it's not been ratified.
That's right. So it's just a bunch of words.
Yeah. We need a written constitution, but maybe we can take the old constitution and make it written and get it ratified, and then it would have some clout over everything.
Yeah. There's a real mess coming, Vin. I think I'm kind of no less certain of that at the end of this video today than I am at the beginning. There's a real mess coming. Also, well, with the resurgence of religion, which I know a lot of people think is a good thing, and I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it is. I'm not religious myself, so I haven't got no skin in the race. But regardless, the amount of power that the right will need to fight their place in a civil war will also mean that they will become OP at some point, overpowered.
Yeah.
There's a lot of consequences to what's happening now, win or lose. That's, I think, the most important thing, especially if anybody thinks we're advocating for civil war or stuff like that. I'll say what I said earlier on. There's no winners. There's no winners, not really. But because of the inaction of others and because of certain actions of others, there may be the ways of avoiding it are getting less and less and less and less. I think that's where we're going, Ben, isn't it? Our options have run out of time.
Yeah, I think it's not just a fact of them running out of time, they've just been taken off the table as well by the government.
Yes. It's in a very quick succession.
Yeah, I mean, you look how quickly it's gone. They've only been in power a year, and look how downhill free speech and free expression have gone in just a year. Imagine what they could do in 4 years. You wouldn't recognise the country. Yeah.
You know what I said the other day about getting to the next election? I didn't even realise it was still 4 years away because it feels like we've been under his thumb for so long. So you're absolutely right. 4 years is almost a death sentence for this country under him.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this, about the centre right people, about, we need to talk a little bit more about this. We've not really talked about this much, have we, during the stream? The centre right people, because they're an issue as well. They're just as much an issue as the left and the centre left.
To say that they are, yeah, you're right.
They're another roadblock in the way. I mean, if you look at, I don't like to talk about party politics, but if you look at the Reform Party, they just morphed into the Tory Party. That's all they are. They're not going to save anything. Nothing at all.
I mean, Nigel is a self-professed Tory many times. He won't say it at the moment, obviously, but that's what he is, and he makes no bones about it. Well, that means you're going to get a Tory-like party in power, and they haven't exactly been the best at keeping their word, have they?
No, it's just basically what they're doing. If you look at it, they're turning the Uniparty into one specific party, and that party is becoming the Reform Party. They've just had a Fabian join their ranks. Fabians are, by definition, people who infiltrate people. You know that? Didn't you know that?
No.
They've just had a Fabian join them. Yeah, they've just had a Fabian join the party.
Who's this? Tell me about it, Ben. I didn't know nothing about this.
Somebody in the chat, I forget his name, but they've had a Fabian. I'll try, actually, you know what? I'll get him up on screen. I'll show you.
Oh, this is good. Wow.
This is
Sorry, guys.
insanity.
If there's anybody out there that doesn't know what the Fabian Society is, whilst I couldn't summarize it very well now, let's just say it's very, very, very leftist and where the roots of a lot of this come from. And it's something that if you don't know what it is, you should definitely Google and have a look at if you've got the time.
I'll try and get it up on screen. I think we've got it here in a minute. Have a look. See if we can find
That's
it.
left as it gets.
Here we go. Yeah, I've got it. Oh, wait till you see this. Wait till you see this, Tom. This is amazing.
Oh, collectivist ideology. Something that Douglas Murray's been very worried about people saying.
So this is from Lewis Brackpool. Now, it was revealed last night to me that by anonymous tip-off that the registered of interest for Stevenage Borough Council confirms that Councillor Mason Humberstone, who defected from Labour to Reform UK, is listed as a member of the Fabian Society. This is him. There you go.
You couldn't. This should make you worry. This should make you worry about how, on the right, this party's politics truly are. And it just shows you how. I wanted to say centre before. Now I don't know what to say, Vin.
I mean,
why would you want to? Why would you allow a Fabian in your party?
why would you allow people anywhere near your party that you want to use to take back this country? They are infiltrators by name. The literal banner is a wolf in sheep's clothing.
To use that, yeah, to use the argument that's just happened a little while ago in chat about people saying about, advocating for Nazis or anything else. You wouldn't want someone from the absolute opposition of you, your absolute is it not antithesis? I can't think what the word is, but your absolute opposite. You wouldn't want them anywhere near the plans of what you're doing, let alone invite them into the party and into the fray. That's I'm sorry, but that's reflective of a political view inside the party.
So it goes on to say this here: the Fabian Society is a long-established socialist organisation with deep ties to the Labour movement, responsible for many of the problems we are facing in modern Britain. I have contacted Reform UK HQ for comment, asking whether they were aware of this Fabian membership at the time of defection, whether this is compatible with Reform's values, if any action will be taken. So I think this is where he filled out the paperwork. This is what he said when he joined. It's like he listed it himself. The Fabian Society.
It's incredible. It's incredible. This would have been a scandal at one point in time. People just don't care anymore.
Well, there you go.
It's outrageous. That's like having. I'm trying to think of the equivalent without overstating it, and I can't at the moment. I can't because ideologues aren't typical of the right, so it's very hard for me to try and think. But I can't think what the I don't know. It's like Starmer inviting Tommy Robinson into his cabinet. There you go. Because they're complete odds.
I'll just say this, right? I'll just say this to Anglo Crusader. If you're an Anglo Crusader, then you should have the St. George's Cross as your icon. Just saying.
By the way, this other thing about Anglo-Saxons. We're also really Normans. We're everything, but nobody ever likes to admit that part. Because we were the conquered at one point.
Yeah. What else are we going to discuss? So we've talked about the Fabian Society within the Reform Party now. That's just insanity.
Yeah. I mean, that is, in some ways, it's like relief, but in other ways, it's a stark warning that people don't even notice these things. I didn't even know anything about it.
The thing is, though, the majority of the people, because they haven't got members, they've got subscribers. Because if you can't vote for policy, if you can't vote for leadership, you're a subscriber. You've got no say in how the party's run. You're a subscriber. I don't like
Can
the
I,
way the Reform Party's set up. It's set up to keep those people in power no matter what. I don't like it.
can I say that there's one thing I've noticed between the only thing in common I think that Farage and Keir have got, and you're welcome to disagree. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm happy to be wrong with this, but I believe that the one thing that both of them share is their willingness to flip flop in order to squeeze through the gaps on their beliefs. I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
Nigel Farage blows wherever the political wind takes him. And you don't want that
Yeah.
as a leader. You don't want a party like that either.
Yeah. So, and this is why also as well, even if we could make it through the next 4 years, I think that pinning so much hope to the next party, it's the mistake we've made in British politics for so many years, for the entire time I've been alive. And look at Tony Blair, although it was organized that people would be out in the streets clapping him, so a lot of that was fake, there was still some real genuine hope when he came in. That I know because I was around it. And look what happened. And it didn't take, it's a bit like when we get a new manager for an England football team, everybody's happy about it until they realise we keep making that mistake time and time again with governments. And because now we've got new names of parties in play, we think that's going to make all the difference in the world. But it's like many people who've dabbled with politics say, you have to lower yourself to pick that power up, which means you have to play those same dirty games, which means you eventually become infected by that system. Which is why the system needs fixing.
I think the issue is, Steve and Tom, is that although the names of parties change, the people who linger around in the background are the same people who linger around with the mainstream parties.
Yes. Exactly that.
So unless you get somebody, I'm sure everybody's seen the film The Untouchables. That's what we need to be as a party. We need a party like that, completely incorruptible.
We need to round up everybody that's got anything to do with power in this country and send them on a all expenses paid holiday that they enjoy very much. And we need to replace those people with hard-working people who understand the daily grind of people in this country.
Yeah, you're going to need a leader. I'm not going to say who it is because I'm not getting to party politics, but this is what you're going to need to go into Parliament. You're going to need a strong, hard right, because that's what it's going to take. I know that might make somebody
scare people,
but that's true. You need somebody that is going to be a warrior, that's going to go into Parliament and face off against the hard left extremists, that isn't going to compromise on anything, that is going to demand that they change, that's going to go in there and get rid of the permanent secretaries, that's going to go in there and get rid of the fifth column within Whitehall and the civil service.
I tell you, I know a man who, if he was in the right position, would be capable of doing this because he is unapologetically right wing, and that's Danny Roscoe. And I'm not just saying that because he's my friend. I'm saying it because I've seen him in action. He will go down with a ship.
This might set the cat amongst the pigeons, but we need the English version of Gavin McGuinness because he is uncompromising on everything. Not everybody's cup of tea, but he's blunt. Absolutely blunt.
It's not about being everybody's cup of tea. I never particularly liked him much, but I admired him.
Yeah, he says what he's got to say, and he doesn't apologise for it, and that's what you need. You don't need to apologise for your actions. You're doing what you're doing to make the country better. If people don't like it, they can fuck off.
Yeah.
They can go, like, the mainstream media can fuck off because they're stooges of the globalists. And this is what Nigel Farage got wrong. He tried to pander to them. He tried to pander to the mainstream media. He wanted to be their lover. He wanted to be ingratiated with them. We don't want somebody like that. I want somebody that's going to go to the mainstream media and be like Donald Trump and say, you're fake news. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, I'm taking you to task. Yeah, absolutely. And also as well, let's just get this straight. So Peter Hitchens, I know he's a bit cuckoo, but he also is, a polemicist like his brother. So he's bound to disagree with most things. But there's something he said about all this. And he said, when he was a journalist back in the old days, a journalist used to take a politician out for lunch for an hour, and that's where you would get your interviews and stuff like that from. He said, things have changed. He said, because now the MSM, not only are they in league with the politicians, but also it's part of the job ladder for getting into power. You climb up through the MSM, and then you go into power. Look at what happened to George Osborne when nobody wanted to touch him in politics. He went back to the place that created him, which was the MSM, which was writing columns for newspapers again. They are hand in hand. And what Peter Hitchens said was, now we don't take someone out for an hour. What they expect, and he said, why I've been pushed out is, he said that you go to these people's dinner parties, they come into your houses, because it's all part of the same political machine. The people in the MSM some of them are hoping to get into politics, which is why they do what they do. It's all one machine now, orientated in getting people in power. That's why they're so interested in serving the government, because they want to be in the government.
I was saying this the other day, right? We don't have investigative journalists anymore. We don't have people like that anymore. That's why you've got people like Active Patriot, Yorkshire Road.
I was about to say his name, yeah.
Those sort of people. There are this generation's Roger Cook, and anybody who was around would know who Roger Cook was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Roger Cook was a real investigative journalist. He infiltrated organisations, and he brought the truth out about them. And that's all these people are doing now. The thing is, it's just because the establishment and the people who don't want the truth coming out are hand in hand, and they're the state. They just don't want the stuff coming out about what's actually going on in this country. That's why Active Patriot's got all these draconian bail restrictions against him. It's why anybody that comes up that gets taken by the police. Look at James Harvey. James Harvey, draconian restrictions. It's not because he's a threat to the public. It's to silence him and shut him down because he's exposing the state for what it is. That's
and what they're doing to people speaking out now on the internet, just to put it into perspective, software hackers and pirates are not terrorists, but they use terrorist laws to stop them from doing what they did. And that those same laws, and bear in mind there was many of us in the 2000s, in the noughties, saying what was happening back then, and there was a big fight against what was going on the internet, because we knew that they weren't just going to take down terrorist websites or even pirate websites. We knew that it would be used one day for something else. So they're using a terrorist law to make someone like Alex Belfield, for instance, not have the ability to go on the internet until 2028.
Look at the Malicious Communications Act. That was brought into power to prevent stalking against telephone calls and stuff like that. Malicious communications. That was even before the internet, and now it's been turned into this nebulous law that encompasses, that has no boundaries. Literally anything you can say can be misconstrued as alarm and distress. Anything you say can be alarm and distress to anybody, and then they can come around. You only have to cause it. You only have to cause it in somebody, or maybe cause it for it to be criminal. That's how nebulous these laws are now.
When you've been on the end of it with the police as well, when you have them knock at your door because you've said something absolutely, you know that if you said it amongst these groups that we're in right now, nobody's going to raise an eyebrow. But people can claim to be hurt by anything, by any word they choose. When you're on the end of that, and you have to take a slap on the wrist because somebody else, and the police told me, if you phoned the police before we did, this would be happening to them. So first come, first served is what they were telling me. Not right or wrong, truth or false. Simply the first person to get the phone wins the argument. And it's scary, isn't it?
The thing is, right, if you get a knock at the door, unless they've got a search warrant and an arrest warrant, you don't let them in. You speak to them at the window and say, I'm not talking to you right now. My lawyer will be in contact with you. That's all you need to say at the window and let them go. That's it.
Because they were, and the other thing is, and Richard Inman said this a while back, and it was one thing he said recently I could really get on board with, and that is that there was a time when we always used to say, look, don't be hard on the police because, they just try and do their job. But we're past that now. I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them know what they're working for now. A lot of them are actively happy about it. So the days in which we can defend all the police and say, it's only a few bad eggs, they're gone. I'm afraid. We now have to realise that these people are, for the most part, agents of chaos there to to keep us in our place and allow the left to do what the hell they want.
I just want to bring this up as well, because this gets brought up as well. I know it's going a bit off topic, right? But from the conversation earlier about we don't deal with fascists or Nazis, if you watch the United Kingdom rally from last week, you will see that when the far right attempted to infiltrate it, they were kicked out. That some offshoot far right party, we just had 3 members, they were skinheads. They were kicked out, they were thrown out instantly by patriots, by the patriots.
And also, they always are. So not just for that event.
Yeah.
Anywhere they are found, they are removed instantly. I remember when we did the Rape of Britain, when we released that video, Patriotic Alternative turned up trying to deliver leaflets at the back of the people. They were removed. Yeah, they don't get anywhere because they are removed forcefully if necessary.
Yeah, they're fringe, and they're just sent back to the fringe where they belong. Simple as that.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else you want to say? Tom, before we go, I want you to promote yourself again, mate. Just drop your links again, tell people who you are and where to find you and stuff like that.
Listen, I've always prided this. Vin knows I'm in a bit of a transitional stage at the moment, so I'm normally better at selling myself. All I'm going to say is that I'm trying to do some stuff that is a little bit comedic based. So at the moment, I'm in a bit of a transition, but everything I try and do elsewhere is I try and inject as much honesty as I can. Now, honesty sometimes just means opinion. I can get it wrong, but I believe that people can respect each other more for trying to have an honest opinion. And if you get it wrong, acknowledge it, go and figure out where you went wrong and get it right. Yeah, so we all get things wrong, but my mission when I came on the internet was to run an experiment in honesty and in trying to fight all this madness. And before we were messed with and everything else, people really gravitated to the honesty. People gravitated to the fact that we would just talk about whatever came into our minds without fear of reprisals from other people. And that's what I'm still trying to do. Still trying to stay in that area of honesty. I don't have a lot of money at the moment. I'm not, but what I have this year, I set myself some goals. I didn't reach them all, but the main thing was that I got out to down south where I am. We've had a massive problem with people not coming out and protesting. And I've been trying with my documentaries I've made, other things I've done to get people down south to realize the problems we've got down here, because they're just as bad as anywhere else. In fact, they're worse because people don't know that they're here. I made a documentary called Welcome to Southampton. It's on my channel. You're welcome to watch it. It's half a documentary, really. And Vin knows about this. And so I went out the first part of the year, started filming those documentaries, run out of money. So then you start doing other videos. And then I went to the demo recently. So I haven't covered as many events as I'd like to. But the fact of it is, at least I'm trying and I'm getting out there and covering as much as I'm capable of, as opposed to just going, oh, if I can't go to them all, I'm not going to go to any. So I'm doing the best that I can. And I'm back in a stage of growth. But the idea is obviously to keep fighting all of this, to team up with people like Vin, Danny Roscoe's, and anybody else who's willing to fight against this. It's not a club, not a team. None of us are. Well, we're not an official anything. We're just mates. Yeah. We're just people who happen to see the same, and we've also been through some of the same journeys. We've paid our dues to get here, and so my channel at Tom's Generation X. You can find me on X if you prefer X, at Share the Risk. That's sort of growing up. It's not massive, but it's growing up further now. And I do try and cover all the issues I can. And most importantly, I don't really believe stuff unless I see it for myself. And what I try and do is go places when I can and show you what I'm seeing unedited so that you can see for yourself what the truth is. That's the goal with some things. And with other things, it's literally is also as well to let you be part of the conversation like today.
And that's where this channel is going as well, because I'm not the sort of person to sit behind a computer and just talk about stuff. I want to be out there on the front line with the people at the protests, just standing up, because you can't preach this stuff without doing what you never send anybody to do something that you're not prepared to do yourself. And that's the way I feel about things. And that's where this channel is going to start and shine, I think, because we're going to do a lot more protests. Hopefully, one day, me and Tom will be at a protest together, and we can finally meet and in person.
I would love that.
Yeah. But yeah,
I would love that.
This is Tom Fury. He's the unsung hero of the rape of Britain. He was the guy filming it all. So go subscribe to him. Go give him go check out.
There was other people. I've just got to say there was other talented camera guys as well. It wasn't just me. I need to say that because there's some very, very good people in that team. People I'm still friends with to this day, and they were fantastic. There was a fantastic team of people.
But he put his life on the line to bring you guys the truth in all of that. So go give him some love. Go give him some support. And you know, let's build a channel for him, because we need voices like his. We need voices like his in the movement. Honest, tell it how it is, blunt and to the point. Right, guys.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm going to call it here. We've been on for 2 hours, mate. It's been a really good stream. We've really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too.
Mate. I'll do it again.
Me too. Yeah. But I'm sorry if I blew some of the more eloquent stuff before we came on live. But it's the way it goes. Next time we'll know, though, won't we?
Just one last comment before we go. Let's answer this one because it's a good one. What do you think about the people who say that English today are weak and cowardly? I would say you're very wrong. I think it's still in them. I think it's still in their DNA, and it can be awakened. We saw it last weekend. It can be awakened in the right circumstances. So don't rule out the English people yet.
I definitely wouldn't say. Sorry, Ben.
We can be the most tolerant people on the planet, but don't fucking cross us. That's my advice.
I would definitely say, definitely not cowardly. Definitely not cowardly. I would say more still sleeping. We need to wake the lion.
Yeah.
If it comes to it.
I'd agree with that one, Tom. Right, Tom. Great having you on, mate. I'm going to say goodbye now to all.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, this is Vindicator. Sign off from Tom and Vindicator. Tom Fury. Go check him out. This is Vindicator.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, everyone.